Booth courtside by Don's associate head coach Janelle Jones. And Janelle, first of all, what positives do you take out of today's game?
Well, I think the first quarter, I think we played with them and we played really good defense, and so I think that we know that we're capable of doing that. I think that's the best thing that we can come out of tonight's game. I think we kept playing and trying, but at moments out there tonight, Gonzaga was the better team. They played the more inspired basketball, and we just turned the ball over way too much. And Bart is a handful.
Yeah, she certainly is, and Price as well, or Rice, I'm sorry. But so where do you go next from this? I mean, it was a tough game. You got another tough game coming up. It did seem like the girls, from a mental aspect, that almost was the toughest part about today's game. Is there something when you come against an undefeated team that you almost have to overcome another obstacle with that mental aspect of the game?
That's what I told the girls at halftime. I said, you guys, it's mental for us right now. It's not whether or not we can play with Gonzaga. We showed that in the first half, but we missed some layups, and then we turned the ball over as soon as they started pressuring us up. We just made some really uncharacteristic to me, weren't mentally tough enough. All they do is make a ball fake, and the next person was open, and we just caved into their pressure a little bit and then lost our confidence. Hey, we can play with this team, and I think that's kind of what happened to us today.
Yeah, and Gonzaga is talented enough that if you have a 2 or 3 minute lapse, that can be the ball game.
Yes, and we came down, we missed a layup, turned the ball over. It was 24-20. We could have cut it to 2 points, and then they went on a 10-1 run. And you can't recover against a really good Gonzaga team when they get a 10-0 run on you. You just can't.
It's interesting. I heard a basketball coach say once, it's all about February.
Yes.
And, the Dons, even with the loss today, you are in great shape conference-wise heading into February, and you play well in February, and you probably wind up in the top 5, maybe 4 in the conference.
You're exactly right. This is a very tough conference, and obviously Gonzaga and St. Mary's and BYU are the teams to beat, but everybody else in the fight, and to me, February is about toughness. What the teams that are toughest in February are going to finish out in that spot, and you get the conference tournament, and who knows what can happen.
Yeah, we've seen that in the past. It's all about your positioning in the tournament and taking some people, taking it to them in the conference and see what happens.
You only have to beat Gonzaga one time.
Yeah, and people have done it. I mean,
yes.
And it's funny. I look back on last season. I think of the game the Dons played with Gonzaga here, and the Dons played really well. Both teams were a little out of sorts. The Dons, I think, at the end were a little less out of sorts. Beat Gonzaga. Gonzaga has not lost to a WCC opponent since.
Wow. Maybe we put the fear of God into them last year. They better come ready to play every time. Yeah, they're a very talented team. Bart is playing well. Rice has improved from last year. Their freshmen are long and they're very good. And I think Gonzaga's defense, you have to give them credit. It's very good defense. It's hard to score against their defense out there. They're moving. I mean, they're packing the paint, and then they get out to the shooters. There wasn't very many good looks that we had, and the ones we had, we just didn't make, and we didn't hit our layups like we needed to.
Always got to make your layups and free throws.
Well, one of the things that occurred to me during the game was a lot of the shots seemed to get away from, catch and shoot or off of a cut, and they were off of the dribble. And I think it seems like when you're shooting off a dribble, it's a contested shot more often.
Yes.
And is that something you were looking to do, like maybe trying to get to the foul line, or is it just how the motion and the offense worked out?
We talked about their defense, that they give really strong help, that you're going to have to penetrate and kick. And I think we just missed so many of we tried to force it instead of penetrating and kicking out to the open girls. And then we got down to the shot clock, and were just kind of discombobulated. We were not trying to do that. No, we were wanting them to stay with the offense, but we were just kind of out of sorts a little bit today. I say we didn't play very inspired basketball second, third, fourth quarter.
Well, there's the next game.
Yes.
There's the next game, and speaking about the next game, it'll be St. Mary's. You haven't seen St. Mary's yet. The Dons are now done with Gonzaga, done with Pepperdine, and St. Mary's right now, Janelle, if you look down in front of you, you will see they trail Portland 63-62 with 1:53 left, and Portland has led that game by as many as 8 points.
That's great. I mean, anyone can beat anyone in this league on any given night, and just the what you're talking about, February, it's tough. People are tired. You're traveling. This is a tough conference to travel in because you rarely are traveling every week. So, this would be outstanding for us, just for the girls to see St. Mary's is beatable.
Yeah, and St. Mary's won on a buzzer beater here last year in San Francisco. So, for Janelle Jones, our post-game guest, and my partner, Amy Tooley, it's my pleasure, George Devine, to wish you a very pleasant good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on Dons Basketball. The Dons fall to Gonzaga today, but we hope you can come back on Thursday night when we'll have Dons Basketball in the W again. St. Mary's comes to town. Always exciting when the Gales take on the Dons, renewing one of the oldest rivalries in Bay Area sports history. For our entire broadcast team, thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you on Thursday night.